Welcome to Brainstorm, the Braintopia podcast, hosted by Sandra Hooper-Murcott, founder of Braintopia Neurofeedback Centers. With locations across the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Braintopia helps children, teens, and adults improve brain function through advanced neurofeedback brain training. On this podcast, we explore the science of brain health and real-world solutions for symptoms linked to anxiety, ADHD, sleep challenges, emotional regulation, and cognitive performance. This is Brainstorm, where understanding your brain is the first step toward lasting change.
QEEG brain map is like a blueprint of your brain's electrical activity, showing what's balanced, what's stressed, and what needs support. Welcome, everyone. I'm Chelsea Earlywine, co-host and producer here in the studio with Sandra Hooper-Murcott, founder of Braintopia Neurofeedback Centers. Sandra, I hope your day's going well so far.
It is. Glad to be here.
Great. Well, Sandra, to kick off the conversation, can you first explain what does QEEG stand for and how does that brain map reveal brain function?
So QEEG stands for quantitative electroencephalogram. So that is quantitative in nature, means that we take this data. We're not reading raw EEG data, but we're taking the EEG data, putting it into a database and comparing that against hundreds of thousands of other brain maps. And what that does for us is it gives us some probability factors that tell what we may be seeing in someone's brain map. And that brain map is truly the crux and the cornerstone of what we do here at Braintopia.
So, Sandra, I think a lot of people are probably familiar with the EEG. How is that different?
So it's just, like I said, we are not reading raw EEG data. That takes a really specialized skill set, and takes many, many years of education to do that. So what we are doing is our software, which comes with a company called BrainCore, has an extensive database that we upload that into. And then we are, again, comparing that against hundreds of thousands of maps that gives us information such as metabolic factors. How the brain waves are moving is true data, but that quantitative nature just gives us some other information that we may be seeing of potential gut health issues or potential behavioral issues that we may be seeing and different symptoms that people are experiencing.
So, how exactly are you collecting that data during the brain mapping session?
Great question. So we put this very beautiful cap on people's heads. It is quite the sight when you come in and brain map. Nothing hurts though. So nothing. It's non-invasive. Everything's on the top of your head. So kind of like a swim cap. And then there's ear clips. And so what that is doing is just reading the brainwave activity. We do, like we said, we're looking at 14 different zones and symmetrical sides of the brain, that different lobes of the brain that we're looking at as well. And taking that information, we do eyes closed factors, which is looking at truly the functional brain when it's not taking in stimuli, and then eyes open when the brain is taking in stimuli. So we can get a reading on both of those sides of that coin.
Oh, it's so fascinating. So, Sandra, what type of patterns or irregularities can QEEG reveal about brain function?
Oh, there's so much. So ultimately, we're looking at two major readings: magnitude readings, which is how fast or slow the brainwaves are moving. And that gives us information that's very important into the symptoms that a client is experiencing. And then also dominant frequency, which is the power level. That also gives us information into how the brain is responding. Is there issue with mitochondrial function? Is there how the brain is taking any kind of fuel from oxygen or food, and how is it making it into ATP at the cellular level? So this report that we get after we do the brain map is 15 to 16 pages. So it is extensive. And it's going to give all kinds of readings. It takes both subjective and objective data, because we have something called a cognitive emotional checklist that we do prior to the brain map that is part of that mapping process. And so we can look at both symptomatically and metabolically, physically, how the brain is responding and put those together. And that's that quantitative nature that makes this map so important. And we always say neurofeedback may not be for everyone, but the brain map, the QEEG brain map, is for everybody. Everyone should have a brain map on a regular basis to know how their brain is functioning.
Oh, it's so fascinating. So, how do these maps help you identify the root causes of symptoms like anxiety or focus issues or sleep challenges?
Great question. So it's important to note that our maps are not diagnostic in nature. So they are not diagnosing anything, but because we have in our database hundreds and hundreds of thousands of maps, we're able to see patterns. And that's what, that's why quantitative data is so important. We can see patterns. So based on how certain brainwaves are moving, we can correlate that with patterns of what symptoms and what if people are coming to us with the diagnosis, we can match those up. And so that's the data that we're getting. Nothing, again, is we're not saying you have X, Y, and Z where it's not diagnosing, but we can say based on the patterns of brainwave activity, here are some things that we may be seeing. We could be seeing hyperthyroid situations. We could be seeing evidence of TBI or concussion. We could see evidence of gut health issues. And so that helps us to direct the client of where to go, not only with neurofeedback, but we have a four-pronged approach. So we look at metabolic, environmental, psychological, and functional. We're the functional piece, but then we partner with other people to look at all of that. So that four-pronged approach is where we can go in helping them to truly get to root causes once we get this brain map information.
Wow. So how does the brain map itself guide the creation of a personalized neurofeedback training plan?
Well, because again, our technology company is so amazing, we'll give a shout out to them again, BrainCore. They have done all the heavy lifting as far as correlating what's on the brain map with the protocols that are recommended. So when we get that map, we already have a list of protocols that are recommended based on how the brain waves are responding to the QEEG brain map. Now, we are clinical in nature, so we can override that if we see certain things that we want to try first. As the clinician, I make those decisions in our centers. But ultimately, we really stick really closely to that map because we're very data driven and we want to make sure that everything is individualized based on the data that we're getting from those maps.
Okay. So, Sandra, to close out today's session, what do clients typically find most surprising or maybe validating when reviewing their brain map results?
The funniest thing that happens in most brain maps is they'll look at me and say, "How do you know this about me?" And I'm like, "I don't. I mean, I just know how to read the map." And so people are most of the time really surprised that this validates years and years of symptoms that they have felt. And so that one releases them from any kind of shame if there's any there that they're feeling like they should be able to handle certain things. But I think the biggest surprise is that the map is usually, I mean, 9.9 times out of 10 is right on with what they're experiencing. And that just makes the job of helping them so much easier.
Oh, it's so interesting. Well, Sandra, thank you so much for helping us understand how powerful and informative a QEEG brain map can be. We appreciate your clarity and we will see everyone next time.
You've been listening to Brainstorm, the Braintopia podcast. If you or someone you love is struggling with symptoms associated with anxiety, ADHD, sleep issues, or focus challenges, neurofeedback may offer a safe, non-invasive path forward. To learn more about Braintopia Neurofeedback Centers and our locations across the Dallas-Fort Worth area, visit BraintopiaCenters.com or call 972-640-7022. That's BraintopiaCenters.com or 972-640-7022. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.